Well, the season has come to an end. We now know where Tennessee goes bowling now. Mark Packer along with Austin Price, Jason Swain down there. It is a complete Orange Bowl as Tennessee and Clemson will both meet in the Orange Bowl. Are you good with that?
I'm great with it. Great matchup, great site there at Miami. New Year's Six game, and then you play against a team that we've been wanting to play against for the last couple of years.
Just wish you could play him with Hendon Hooker at quarterback.
Yes, absolutely. But this team deserves to play in this game. Again, it's a great site, and it's an opponent that has a lot of respect. You got a chance to go down there and get some respect by beating them.
Yeah, I mean, if you go in there and you beat Clemson, you get a lot of respect. If you lose to them, you're losing to Clemson. Whereas if you went to Dallas and you played in the Cotton Bowl, it's kind of a no-win. You're supposed to beat Tulane.
Yeah.
If you lose to Tulane, what a travesty down the stretch the season would have been. Yeah, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm really excited for this game. Obviously, you'd love to have a full complement. You know, I don't think Tennessee's going to have the full roster when they roll to Miami. I don't think Cedric Tillman's going to play. We'll see what Jalen Hyatt does. I do think Darnell Wright will play. You know, and ultimately, I think it's going to boil down to, you know, kind of is Cade Klubnik actually improved watching him in the ACC championship game, or was Cade Klubnik just playing a very, very bad North Carolina defense that's give up points?
Well, they were different when he plays ukulele. Yeah.
I think DJ should play. Just saying.
Okay, you've got the opportunity. The question is, how many guys is Clemson going to have out? Because it's not just Tennessee.
They got guys hit the portal too.
Well, no, they have guys hit the portal, but I don't. Portal guys are portal guys. Like
it's guys that don't want to get hurt.
A lot of those players are not playing for a reason. So opt-outs is more what I'm talking about. Like the guys that decide to pass on playing in the Orange Bowl to get ready for the NFL draft. Does Clemson have any of those defensive linemen do that? Which is possible.
Well, that's important too. But think about some of the portal guys who serve as your special teams players, and you can lose the game. You know, in that third of the football game. So you look at Tennessee's roster and some of the guys who hit the portal. Those are players that were on special teams for Tennessee, and now you have to replace those guys with probably walk-ons.
You know what's so different is the bowl games used to be a big deal where you got there and you had your full complement of players, and it was a big deal. They all played, and now it's almost like the first of 15 practices for the spring. It's like, okay, all these guys are gone. Let's see what we got and who's going to go to the portal, who's going to be
And for Tennessee,
here.
They're going to have all these midterm enrollees here for bowl practice. You know, so that's going to be interesting too, because you're going to be trying to figure out, you know, who can you count on for the Orange Bowl, kind of getting some young guys ready. Like, you know, if let's say Hyatt doesn't go, Tillman doesn't go, all of a sudden that brings a guy like Chaz Nimrod into play, and you know, and he's going to play in the bowl game, trying to get him ready. But then you have all these, you know, midterm enrollees. I think it's about 16 of them that are going to, you know, be here, you know, for bowl practice.
You think it's important that you win or lose this game? I mean, he's acting like it's not as big a deal anymore. You lose to Clemson, that's fine. You beat them, okay, that's great. If you don't, whatever.
I mean, let me state the obvious here. It's important that you win every game. But
thank you.
Look at last year's game against Purdue, where you lost to an inferior team, a team that had 2 or 3 guys that went to the NFL that did not play.
Right.
And
you're 8-0 this year.
We got torched by some backups. So I think winning this game is super, super, super important considering what happened last year.
And not to beat a dead horse on the South Carolina game, because everybody's always trying.
What happened? Here we go.
What happened that game?
Here we go.
People forget that this is the legit same defense, adding no one, and in fact losing Matthew Butler. And Alante didn't play in that game, so it doesn't matter. But like, it's the same defense that gave up 40 points and lost to Purdue to backup quarterbacks and backup receivers.
What are you saying? What's your point?
My point
is, you trying to make us feel bad about those 2 games? They gave up 100 to Purdue and South Carolina.
They did more with less for the majority of the season except for the South Carolina game.
The point is they were still that same defense that got torched by Purdue in the bowl game, and you were able to kind of mask it with good offense, opportunistic defense. Can Tennessee do that in the bowl game? The defense, for the most part this year, has been pretty opportunistic, right? Except for that one outlier, which was South Carolina. Is that the defense you get in Miami, or is it the defense that showed up for most of the year, which was opportunistic, got in the backfield, pressure, sacks, you know, forced a few turnovers, and got their defense or got their high-octane offense the ball back just enough?
What about Joe Milton? How important is the game for Joe Milton going into the offseason?
Super important. I mean, The Vanderbilt game, he has some good throws, but has some throws that he probably would like to have back. The running game was on point. This would be a great opportunity for Joe going into next year, going into the spring, where you have two quarterbacks that he's going to have to battle with, and he has, the lead right now. He has the advantage. But Nico's coming in, and we know all the hype surrounding him. So it would be great for Joe to come in this game and have a nice showing and lead his team to victory.
Yeah, and again, I'd be interested to see how they use him in this game. They got out to such a quick lead against Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt was never really a threat.
And Vanderbilt was Vanderbilt. They
didn't use Joe's legs. I still question, like the last 8 throws he made were just 70-yard bombs. Was that by design, or was he like, my primary is, the check down, but nah. Whoosh.
Is Golish going to coordinate in this game?
No, he's gone.
Okay. Yeah, and I was going to tease that as we go into the next break. Obviously, as Golish is now gone, your offensive coordinator, let's go ahead and take a break right here, and then we'll come back and talk about how do you move forward with your offensive coordinator heading down to Florida. We'll do that when we come back.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Iris Networks, Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, and Exterior Home Solutions.
When it comes to the game of football, teamwork is critical for success. When it comes to customer service and business, that team approach is just as critical. That's why we're such believers in our friends at Exterior Home Solutions. We have seen firsthand how Exterior Home Solutions has supported our community and treats their customers just like family. So when it comes to roofing, siding, or maybe a complete overhaul, please make Exterior Home Solutions your first and only call.
Football is back, and OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense. Call OEB Law and turn your wreck into a check.
Blue 2020 F-150 41990. Hut. Jake drops back. He's got a deal wide open. The crowd goes wild. With savings, whether you're looking for a low-mileage pre-owned truck to tailgate in or a minivan to get the whole family to the game, the Pre-Owned Patrol has what you're looking for. Only at Ted Russell Ford on Kingston Pike or Parkside Drive.
Hey, this is UT head football coach Josh Heupel. It's football time in Tennessee. When the Big Orange play, you don't have to miss a second of the action. Before, during, and after the game, just make sure your radios are tuned in to 107.7 WIVK. Or if you're on the go, download the WIVK app and listen anywhere. Your flagship station for the Tennessee Volunteers. 107.7 WIVK. It's a Tennessee tradition.
Do you want top-of-the-line fitness equipment for home, school, or work? New or reconditioned, Dynabody in Maryville has everything you need to build that gym. Used equipment brands include Paramount, Life Fitness, Nautilus, Hammer Strength, and Precor. Reach for the power with Dynabody.
So officially, just to look at it, sometimes when you look at it, it kind of becomes more real, right, Swain?
Yep, Mark.
Tennessee and Clemson, December 30th, 8 p.m. ESPN. It is the Orange Bowl with two teams that are both orange. Ooh. Okay, so Alex Golish announcing, and he's already talked to the team there at South Florida. He's gone as offensive. Where does Tennessee go from here?
Well, I think that what you're looking at here is probably not an offensive coordinator search. I think your offensive coordinator is Josh Heupel. I think what you're looking at is a tight ends hire. Now, Coach Heupel could flip that, but I think on the whole you're looking at hiring a tight ends coach who can help recruit and can help game plan. Someone that can learn the offense, is a smart football mind. Does Coach Heupel have someone in mind? Does he have someone that he's coached with along the way, or that he knows in coaching circles to look at? Does somebody like Jeff Ferris get a look? Former Catholic alum, who's the tight ends coach at UCLA, was the tight ends coach at Duke. Coach for Coach Cutcliffe, coach for Chip Kelly, smart football mind, young guy, energetic, 32 years old. Does he get a look? Now, I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I'm just saying, when you look at names, that to me is at least a name that I think that there might be a conversation had. We'll see. We'll see if something ever comes up. Maybe nothing comes of it.
Is it a big loss?
Golish is a big loss because he's a really good coach, but if you're Josh Heupel, this is what you want. Like, you want coaches leaving your program and taking head coaching opportunities. That means you're going to be able to attract other good coaches. And I think Tennessee needs to get someone that can recruit. I mean, NIL is a thing. Everyone's jockeying for position. Everyone has nice facilities. You got to get someone that can build relationships and be really, really good on the recruiting trail.
Who's next?
What do you mean?
Who's next? I mean, what Tennessee coach is next? Is this the only attrition, only loss you're going to have?
Tim Banks is next, but it may not be this year, but next in line. I mean, he's a head coach. You can tell by how he carries himself.
I would say Jerry Mack's a possibility for Group of 5 head coach. Jerry's been a head coach at small level, then a coordinator at Rice.
To the point of what Jason said, what you're talking about is there was a time not too long ago where we would talk about who was next. You'd talk about who got shown the door next. And now you're talking about, okay, this guy is going to be ready for a head coaching position, and this one's going to be ready for a head coaching position. And does that matter for recruits? Does it matter for coaches? What's the biggest part of it? The biggest positive in that?
I think
this is just a different conversation than we've had the last few years.
I think there's just a lot of positive around the program. And so, I think for the most part, you want to find someone who meshes with your culture and someone who, can help you game plan, can help you recruit. Doesn't have to necessarily be a play caller. Coach Golish helped call the plays. He called plays, but Coach Heupel knew what he wanted. Like, he'd be like, Coach Golish, I'd like to see this. Coach Golish called that. So he's calling the plays, but
how often did he do it?
All the time. Coach Heupel would have a huge influence on what Coach Golish called. So ultimately, it's been a nice, I think, help for Coach Heupel to have someone he trusts.
You could put on autopilot for a little bit.
Yes.
Every once in a while. Put on autopilot. I need to go take care of this. I'm going to put that on autopilot.
And if they hire a tight ends coach, then I think you're looking at potentially, bumping Joey Halsley into that coordinator role and letting him groom. He wouldn't be a play caller right away. That'd be Coach Heupel, but you let him groom and let him learn. I think that's what Coach Golish did when he got to South Florida, was groom and learn.
Jason, let me ask you this. Once again, I always say this because you've been out there on the field and you've played and you know all those. How much does the cohesiveness of the coaching staff of, like Austin's talking about, that Heupel and Golish were kind of like that? I mean, they were finishing each other's sentences. How important is that when you're the wide receiver or the player out there?
I mean, it's important, but it's not like everything falls apart if a coach leaves. I mean, I think the culture is the most important thing.
Okay.
Woody McCorvey recruited me to Tennessee, and then he left after my freshman year to be the offensive coordinator at Mississippi State. And I was happy for him because he was going to be a part of history. Sylvester Croom was the first, black coach hired in the SEC. So
Were you worried?
Happy. No, I wasn't worried. I was happy for him, and I think a lot of players on this football team are happy for Alex Golish going on to be a head coach because that's something he wants to do. The culture is positive. So you look at the tight end commit that was asked about Golish departing. He said, hey, man, he's happy for Golish, but he's committed to the culture. He's locked in with the University of Tennessee.
How important is it for the next quarterback, for Joe? I mean, or should I say this, how important was it for Hendon that he had that cohesiveness to be 58 touchdowns and 5 interceptions?
And they had 3 different coaches.
Yeah, Golish had nothing to do with him. He coached tight ends. That's Joey Halsley.
Who was the biggest key, Heupel?
No, Joey Halsley.
Was the biggest key for Hendon Hooker?
Yep, 100%.
Is he the most important part of this cog that's not the head coach?
Yep, because he's the one coaching your quarterback position. And if you're good at quarterback, look at Clemson. Clemson's kind of been, it's been a down year for them. Yeah. They've not been very good on offense. Last night, what happened? They're pretty good on offense, right? A little jolt in the arm at quarterback. When you get a little jolt in the arm at quarterback, it changes, just the mood. And
so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As far as that goes, don't move him off the quarterback out of the quarterback.
He would still be the quarterback regardless, even if he gets a promotion to, offensive coordinator and title with Heupel calling the plays. Yeah. It's still going to be Joey Halsley's quarterback room.
Is Joe the quarterback going into next year?
Yes, as of right now.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he be?
Is there a chance he gets beaten out before the season starts? What are the odds
before next season?
What are the odds that Joe Milton is your day one starter for Tennessee?
I think they should be high. I think they are high. But, Joe has to approach this thing like it's the competition that he had with Hendon Hooker. I mean, he's
got to respect Nico and anyone else who's just like he did him.
Well, he doesn't need to worry about Nico. He needs to worry about Joe. I mean, it's a battle against himself each and every day. That's how he needs to take it. Don't worry about Nico. Don't worry about anyone else. Worry about Joe, man. You're competing with yourself.
What you just asked, we got the weather guy from VLT over there. I could ask him what the temperatures are going to be in August next year. He could throw a guess out there, but that don't mean it's going to be right. I mean, you just don't know. When what happens in spring, does Joe take a step forward in spring, or does he kind of stay where he's at and some of those kids come along? Where's Taven Jackson at? I mean, I think everybody's kind of just forgotten about him, and it's easy to, right, because there's the excitement around Nico.
And will Taven be here?
Yeah, will he be here? Correct. But, like, the point is like, it's just a long way to go. You got all these bowl practices, all the spring practice.
Okay.
If you said, who am I betting on to start the game against Virginia and Nashville, I'm betting on Joe Milton.
Okay. All right, we'll take a break. We've got to talk about where does Tennessee go in the offseason. I know we've got one more game left, but as far as the whole landscape, who's going to the portal, who's Tennessee looking for, what position are they looking for in the portal, recruiting. Plus, when we come back, we will tell you who won lunch with the Vols. We've talked about this all year long. We will announce that when we come back. By the way, you can also support the Big Orange and the initiative that is the NIL with Spire Sports. Be a member of the Volunteer Club at volunteerclub.com. We'll be right back. The Locker Room brought to you by Iris Networks.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Commercial Bank, Humana, E2 Sports, and OEB Law. The Locker Room is brought to you in part by Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, the exclusive orthopedic provider for University of Tennessee athletics for over 70 years.
This is the story of John Smith. Not this John Smith, or this John Smith, or any of the other hundreds of John Smiths that are Humana Medicare Advantage members. No, it's this John Smith, who we paired with a Humana team member to help address his own specific health needs. At Humana, we take a personal approach to your health to provide care that's just as unique as you are, no matter what your name is.
Behind every Food City meat and seafood counter is a highly trained, certified butcher. Our butchers offer special orders, custom cuts, and even entire meal recommendations. In fact, you'll be so impressed with our butchers, you'll be asking yourself, what can't they do?
Huh, I bet he'd be great at wrapping presents.
Okay, well, maybe not that. But at Food City, our butchers make almost everything better.
D1 training is not only for the athlete who wants to perform at their best. D1 offers adult training programs because we believe everybody needs training. With a specialized facility, targeted workouts, and professional trainers, D1 Training has been in business 20 years strong. We'll give you everything you need to succeed. All you have to do is show up. Join us, D1 Hardin Valley or D1 Sevier County.
D1 Sports Training, the place for the athlete.
Okay, so once again, here it is. In case you missed the start of the show, there's that graphic again. We will announce Tennessee and Clemson in the Orange Bowl. We will also announce here, I guess we can do it now, who won lunch with the Vols. Can we pop that up right now since I'm talking about it? And I teased it a little bit earlier, but we've talked about this all year long, Aspire Sports and HillaryFrostHomes.com. Somebody winning lunch with the Vols, and we'll do that right now. I think we're going to do it later. James Kennedy at Clinton. We've got James's information, so we'll contact James, and we'll figure out after the holidays and in January when we can round up some Vols and have lunch with the Vols. Are you coming, Austin?
Maybe.
Swain, you coming?
If I'm invited.
You're invited, and it's a free lunch on me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like free
you're
lunches.
paying for it.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Where are we going then, Jason?
The most expensive place in Knoxville.
Yeah. Okay, so Tennessee goes into the offseason, and we've talked about this before. They did such a wonderful job of finding the right fit of players, whether it was recruits that they brought in on their own, recruits that were here before, transfer portal guys, NIL, all this stuff. How do you reenact what happened this year?
I don't know if you can reenact it. I mean, every team's got different chemistry, but you've got to try to find the needs in the portal, Jason. Needs are tight ends. Depending on what Jacob Warren does, you need at least one, if not two. Might even need three. You're down to kind of nobody. And, you need help at offensive tackle. You need help at, defensive line, whether it be a three technique or a pass rusher. You need help in the secondary. All spots where Tennessee needs to go find somebody from the portal. Interestingly enough, Tennessee's not had one person go to the portal yet from defense, but they've had, 5 from the offensive side of the ball.
What's interesting about the portal is you have a short amount of time to try to get to learn about these players as fast as possible, and vice versa, because you have a culture that is positive, right? You've built over the last 24 months. So the last thing you want to do is bring someone in that you don't know that comes in and kind of negatively affects your culture. So super important that you get the right guys that fit your locker room.
How do you do, and you guys know this better than I do, is there somebody who's a character check person for people who are in the portal? Because there are all these guys that go, and they're all frustrated that go in there. They're frustrated about for some reason they're leaving where they are.
Well, all coaches talk, right? I mean, when a kid goes in the portal here, coaches from other schools call their people here or call people they know that are familiar with Tennessee. Tell me about this guy. When a kid goes in the portal elsewhere, Tennessee's going to call and go, hey, tell me about this guy.
Are they honest with each other?
Yeah, for the most part, I think they are. Yeah, because all coaches I think are pretty cognizant of they don't want to deal with headaches, and so some kids just are good players and just can't get on the field because they're buried in a position. Some kids do it to themselves. Some kids,
So to steal a line from Mrs. Doubtfire in Mrs. Doubtfire, your phrase just now, it was a run by fruiting what you just did about that there are no players off the defense who have gone to the portal, but there are 5 off of the offense. I have to ask, you said that and you moved on. Why is that? What were you getting at?
I wasn't getting at anything. I was just saying
you said it was peculiar. It was interesting.
It's interesting to me that nobody from the defense has went in the portal.
Okay, why is that interesting?
Just because the defense has got several players on it that I think would like to get on the field more.
You think they're happier?
I don't know about happier. I do think it's easier. They do play a much bigger rotation on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Offensive side of the ball, they play basically 3 receivers, minus Ramel Keaton, who played because, said was hurt.
Did that catch you as odd? You kind of raised your eyebrows whenever Austin said that. And I'm like, okay, let's dive into that for a minute. Nobody from the defense is talking about the portal.
It didn't catch me as odd. I mean, offensively, you had a nice rotation with the running backs here and there, but the offense itself makes it hard to rotate.
He's right about
period.
that.
So it's harder to play. It's harder to get those.
So it's easier to get frustrated and want to go somewhere else and play.
That if you want to look at a downside, that could be the downside. I mean, if I'm a true freshman and I played a lot as a true freshman, but if I'm not part of that 3 deep at wide receiver,
right,
I may not be playing as much. So that's the one downside.
If you can get into that 3 deep,
you're good to go.
Unlimited
you're
opportunities.
Good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. If you're not, then it's a bit of a.
And those
because you don't want to hate. If he gets injured,
you don't want
to be thinking those terms. I mean.
Okay. Got to catch a break. We didn't get as much in this segment as I want. We'll get it in the last segment when we come back on the locker room.
The Locker Room is brought to you by Pilot Company, Ted Russell Ford, Food City, and Lincoln Memorial University.
Community banking is about location and much more. It's about family. We reside in your community. We are a part of your community. At Commercial Bank, our commitment extends beyond the walls of our branches. It's displayed each day in the opportunities we provide, the money we give back, and the time we commit, all to help improve the lives of the people, families, and businesses that make our communities great. Commercial Bank, life made better.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Costad. Dr. Malone and I here at Knoxville Smiles are here to help you with any of your dental needs, whether it's a routine cleaning, a root canal, or if you just want some advice. Did you know that you don't have to settle for a denture anymore? My team and Dr. Malone are here to help you no matter where you're at and to help you figure out the truth for your dental health. So give us a call or visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Matlock Tire has a reputation for being a little bit old school. We're proud to be known for our outstanding hometown customer service. We've been doing things that way for over 60 years. But Matlock now offers new modern conveniences, such as family-friendly waiting areas, online appointment scheduling. You can even shop for tires and see our current stock right from your computer or smartphone. We invite you to stop into one of our 5 convenient locations or come see us online at matlocktireservice.com. Modern convenience, hometown service. Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair.
I chose LMU because I wanted doors to open for me. For my future to have endless possibilities. To know I could become anything I wanted to be. Objection, Your Honor. I always wanted to say that. So whether I wanted to be a veterinarian, a high school teacher, let's turn to page 32, or a successful dentist, I knew LMU would help me get there. All I had to do was open the door.
So last night, Saturday night, I guess there was it halftime of the ACC championship or one of them that they interviewed Nick Saban.
The Big Ten championship, yeah. I mean,
Come on, Nick.
He sounded like he was about to tell you, yes, you can have that 2010 Hyundai for the deal that you want. Talking about that Alabama as a 2-loss team should get in there, and came up with this diatribe about how if the Vegas line on all these, who would be the favorite? It was the sleaziest crud I've ever seen.
They actually said they played 3 good teams at the end of the season, too. Like, come on, man.
And somebody put on Twitter, said, Danny White in Tennessee, that was a PR nightmare on their part that they didn't put Heupel out there to get that kind of PR. No, I'm going to disagree with that. It would have been genius for Tennessee to have said, don't make our coach look like Nick Saban looked, because it was pathetic.
What was Heupel? We'll get out there and go, I'll tell you what, let's spin this quarter, and if it lands on heads, we go. If it lands on tails, we don't go. And he had
That's about what it was.
Corny smile. What's it gonna be? Oh wait, it's my wedding ring.
It's still spinning, man.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah. Nick is better than that, man. He don't have to do that.
That's what happens when you get desperate, though. You make bad decisions. And what happened today is he found out, I guess I don't have the pull I thought I did. I think he thought he could just will it to happen.
And now he's a fan of the 12-team playoff, by the way.
You may tell you what I thought it was? I thought Nick Saban looked like Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty. When Morgan Freeman as God tells him, you can't influence free will. And he's like, love me. That's what he looked like yesterday.
And then like 80,000 people won the lottery. Okay, is this the most boring college? Is this a bunch of whiners? Okay, so we've got... That's what happened. Okay, so 30 seconds left. Is this the most boring college football playoff ever? Because Georgia's going to kill everybody.
I mean, not as boring as it was last year. I mean, pretty much the same as it was last year. So,
I think Ohio State's going to give Georgia a game.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I think they're better than they indicated. They had a bad night. I still don't think they're as good as Georgia, but I think they'll push them. If I was Georgia, I would be like, are you kidding me?
Did my TCU quarterback win the Heisman Trophy with his performance?
No. Are you kidding me? He was 18 of 36.
Did you see the heart and the fire in him?
We appreciate his efforts. They lost, and he was 18 of 36.
He was a warrior. I went to TCU.
He's not better than Hendon.
He was 18 of 36. 18 of 36.
Okay, so here's the deal. Congratulations.
Made Tebow look like a good passer.
Congratulations to our winner of winning lunch with the Vols out of Clinton, Tennessee. We take a break now. We will join you again the second Sunday in January the 8th. Same 3 cast of characters. What? Heads or tails? Nick Saban.
It's not going to stop spinning.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you after Tennessee and Clemson play. We'll talk about that and much more on The Locker Room.